Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to Cypress and Mobility. I'm Ryan and we're going to have some fun again today. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have our water bottle available. We have some weights, and 2 classes ago I used this step and I mentioned if you had a book, then that's an option. So I'm going to bust out my trusty Smithsonian Earth book, which is about that thick. So if we have something like that, we're going to work on our hip shifts today. So we know that any way that we can elevate will suffice. Let's go ahead and start warming up. Let's get that opposite elbow to that knee. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Let's light that fire. Getting that blood pumping. Oh yeah. Hopefully our Friday's going quite well, or whatever day it is we might be watching this in the future. Sometimes I like wearing bright colors to add a little bit more energy. Making our own sunshine. 27 seconds. Keep up the good work. Almost through. And time. Oh, good stuff. All right. So now, let's do our reverse lunges. We're going to have our hands on the chair, stepping back with one leg, opening up, and returning. Remember that leg that stays back, that hand stays grounded onto our chair. Got 23 seconds left. Opening those hips, opening that thoracic spine. We want a little more out of our stretch. Follow the hand with the eyes. Where the eyes go, that's where the body goes. So going even deeper. And time. Good stuff. Let's work in our side steps and our zigzags next. So if we have a band, we can sit down, we can put it over our knees, at our ankles, or at the balls of our feet for those side steps. And we can stay close to that chair that whole time. Getting low and side stepping. So I can choose to stay right behind my chair, going back and forth, or I can get a little more lay of the land, going a little farther away from the chair. Do our best to keep those hips back, that chest is up. "22 seconds. Final second. And time. Nice. Next up, let's do our zigzags. We're going in and out at 45 degrees. Again, got our hips back. 3, 2, 1. We have that band around our ankles, keeping tension on it. Not going out too far, such that the band breaks, or bring our feet so close together we lose that tension. Again, try to stay low. "15 seconds. And time. Nicely done. Let's get our little tree cycle in, finding our chair, getting grounded to the floor, to our chair, and finding our balance and center. Focusing on that breath. If we want to grow our limbs, we're welcome to, or we can keep it centered. We're welcome to lift that hand, and if we fall out of it, just working our way back in. Find your breath. And time. Good. Let's switch to the other side now. So again, finding that balance, grounding. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Again, if we want to find that balance without holding on to the chair, adding that moving with the wind. And if we add our own wobble, that's usually what will happen. Smiling it off, getting right back in. Or we can have one of our feet or toes grounded, that heel up on our foot or our leg. Some days we're good with our balance, some days not so good. Being kind to ourselves and time. Let's get a sip of that water. We're going to start off with that lower body today. We're going to do some lateral lunges. Then we're going to add in that hip hike, followed by some goblet squats. All right, so I'm going to use the chair, and I'm going to start off with my feet wide. We have the option in either this set or the second set to do it plyometric style, where we step out and go from side to side. But I'm going to start off, feet are nice and wide, and it's all about bringing my hips backwards. So I'm going to demonstrate that view first. I'm nice and wide. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I bring my butt back, my knees over my toes, standing back to center. Then again, butt back, knees over those toes. Let's keep it up. Round nice and wide, butt back, returning to center, butt back, returning to center. If we look down, we can see our knees over our feet. That's exactly what we want. We can also make this a little tougher, either this set or that second set, holding on to some weight here. 20 seconds. We can also just use that chair, keeping ourselves nice and upright. Almost done. And time. Good stuff. So now let's grab our book, whatever it is that we're able to just lift a little higher. We don't need much, because it's about hiking that hip up, but also letting it drop down. So we want it such that we're standing on it, our foot isn't touching the ground. We need to actually scoot back, not scoot forward. So we're here, and basically level with the hips. I'm going to drop my hip, bring it up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Again, lowering, raising, lowering that hip, elevating it. That grounded leg is more or less the same. That knee can bend a little bit. But we really want that lift to be from that left hip going lower and higher relative to that right hip. Keep it up. This might seem a little silly. It's a really great way to strengthen our hips, our back, and building some stability. Almost through. And time. Good. Let's switch to the other side. So again, grounding our foot. You might want to make sure it's okay to use that particular book. Maybe put a paper towel on top of it if it's not your book. All right. Getting ready, or if your feet aren't the most clean right now, or your shoe. 3, 2, 1. Again, hiking that down low. Let's get it up. Feeling that strengthening in that left leg as that right hip lowers and elevates. Okay, we can use our chair for balance if we need to. Almost through. And time. Awesome. So now we're going to do our goblet squats. And with our goblet squats, I recommend using some weight. We do have the option of having our hands on the chair and just dropping down. By the goblet, he's just holding on to something here. So I'm going to do it with 2 weights, kind of in this racked position. You have the option of using it with 1 here, or your hands on here as we inhale down and exhale up. So let's get into position. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider. Inhaling, coming down. Exhaling, coming up. Inhaling, descending. Keeping that chest up. Exhaling up. Now again, I could be holding on to just one object. I like this racked position if we have 2 equal weights. And we can always use that chair. A little bit of support. And it might allow us to go a little bit deeper. And time. Great job. Okay, let's get some water. We're going to repeat all of our lower body. So we'll have our lateral lunge. And on this round, I'm going to choose to hold some weight. We can do it just like I demonstrated with the goblet squat, where we have 1 weight, which is what I'm going to do, or 2 weights, where it's in this racked position. Let's get our feet nice and wide. Again, we can still choose that step out, that plyometric. It's always available to us. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. And my hips are back, bending my knee. Back and forth. We're inhaling to the side, exhaling up to center. Keep up good work. Keep that chest lifted, hips back. Pressing strong through our feet and engaging our quads. Those muscles in the front of our knees. And time. Great job. Let's get to our hip shift. Those hip hikes. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of weight on this round. I'm going to hold on to the weight on the side that's going to be elevated. I still have my hand for that support if I need it. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, lowering. Exhaling, lifting. That same premise of if we find one side a little harder than the other, then when we're not in class together, virtually or maybe down the road in person, implement this into some daily maintenance where you do your weaker side first, you do the other side, and then you repeat it on that weaker side. Again, dropping those hips up and down. And time. Good stuff. Let's work the other side now. So similar premise. Getting ready. 3. Let me start that timer. 3, 2, 1. Dropping that right. Lifting it up. So we want to be mindful that, and sometimes when we switch sides, it's a little harder to really get those movements how we want them, where we might be doing that kind of an oblique exercise, but really try to focus on that pelvis, going low, going high, going low and high. Almost through. And time. Good stuff. Building that strength, one hip hike at a time. Great job. Let's get our goblet squats in. We can double up our weight. We can use our chair. We can use one weight. All right. Preparing that body, mind, and even that soul. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Sometimes, not everyone likes exercise, so we need that spirit to be a little more energized. Hopefully, we're liking exercise. It's a nice reprieve. And it helps us stay strong, more resilient. Make sure those hips are back. That's important. The squat is down and back. Almost through. Yeah, we are. Vibrated right at that time. Good stuff. Let's get some water. We're going to go into our upper body next, which is going to include a hinge row, doing both sides, doing a push-up, and then working a little bit of a balance. We're going to do overhead press, where we have one leg up, this hand grounded to our chair, and then pressing. So let's get that water, and then we're going to do our hinged row. So we have that option of doing the row in our chair or standing. And it's very similar because our hips are hinged. So if we're standing, think about bringing our hips backward, then bending those knees. And just take a look at the line of my spine. That's what we're looking to get. And it's that same line seated. The only difference is we're standing. So if you want to stand, Feel free. If you want to sit, you also have that option. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we're shrugging our shoulder blades back and lifting those arms to about 90 degrees. Inhaling, lowering, nice and controlled. Exhaling, lifting up. Trying to keep that head in line with our spine, not dropping it away. But again, in line with the rest of our spine. Keep up the good work. I know you're all putting in that effort. Almost through. And time. Good stuff. We're going to do our push-ups now. So we want to find that elevated surface that allows us to do push-ups as effective as possible. That can be our hands on the wall, on the counter, on the couch, or maybe we're even doing it on the floor. So finding wherever that is, make sure it's stable. That's the focus. I'm going to do this on the floor. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So our hands are underneath our shoulders. We have our feet a little wider, nice and stable. We're inhaling, lowering down, about halfway, pressing up. So again, we're just looking for the 90 degrees of our upper arm and lower arm. Staying strong. Want to elevate just to keep everything connected from our neck to our hips to our ankles. What we don't want to see is a disconnect between our upper body and our lower body, where sometimes people will press differently. We want one whole unit. That's the focus. We can keep our core engaged, our quads tight, and our butt tight. And we made it. Good job. Nice. So let's get into our single leg balance with our overhead press. So this is a great way to work on our balance, where we have one foot up and our hand on here. Now, if this is too much, what I recommend is doing it just with both feet on the ground. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So we're going to keep the shoulder down, packed, as we press that arm up to the sky, lowering back down. Now, if this feels a little too much, what I recommend instead is just doing a front raise. We're just going to shoulder height, because an overhead press is a little harder. And if we don't have our full range of motion in our shoulder, if we're lifting everything's overhead, it's more than likely that we will not regain that range of motion. So getting that range of motion first is the most crucial step. So if we have a hard time lifting above our shoulder, just going either straight out in front in a front raise, or the shoulder's natural position of 45 degrees. Cool. Let's switch to the other side. Everything applies on this side as well. 3, 2, 1. Packing that shoulder. Lifting the arm. Now when we think about packing the shoulder, let's think about zipping our armpit to our hips. So I'm actively bringing my armpit closer to my hips as I press my hand up. It takes time, but as long as we have that focus, that intention, and keeping our core engaged will help, as will keeping both glutes, especially that glute on the down leg, engaged. Makes a world of a difference. Almost through. And time. Good work. So we're going to go back to our hinged row. We can get a sip of water if we want to. Staying hydrated is crucial. The body starts to be affected if we're 1% less hydrated. So, if we're thirsty, it's already too late, so try to drink throughout the day. And especially, drink a good amount prior to exercise. Let's get ready. So same premise, we're hinging, either from standing, we can bring our hips back, or from seated. We're going to bring our chest forward, and here we go, 3, 2, 1, let's do it. Inhaling, lowering, exhaling up. And we're keeping that head back. Staying strong. Nearly finished. And time. Good job. Let's do those push-ups again. Everyone's favorite push-ups. Okay, so finding where we need to be, hands here, feet nice and wide, and we're going to be inhaling, lowering. This 45 degrees is crucial. We don't want to have our arms out here, but 45 degrees or less. Let's do it. Here we go. Again, keep that core engaged. We're inhaling, lowering, exhaling up. Staying with it, nice and strong. Almost through. And time. Good job. All right. So finishing up with our overhead presses, while we work on our balance. So let's work with our right hand. We'll have our left leg grounded on the chair. And we can always stand with both legs if we need to. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Packing my shoulder down, pressing that weight up. Inhaling, lowering. Keeping my core engaged, my glute, especially on that right side, squeezing. Inhaling, back down. Staying with it, almost through. Again, we can always be out to the side at 45 degrees, straight forward, whichever, especially if we get fatigued. Let's switch to the other side. When fatigue sets in, technique starts to deteriorate, and injury is more common. Let's get ready. So always rest if we're starting to get too tired. We can modify. 3, 2, 1. Core, glutes, Pressing up. Sticking with it. Almost done. And we're finished. Good job. Let's get that water. Let's start to stretch. So we're going to start off with our upper back and shoulders using that chair. A little bit of our hamstrings and our low back. Big fan of this stretch. Again, just be mindful of that head. If it bothers you, drop your head too low. Don't. Try to keep it lifted. We're going to walk our feet away, bringing our hips back, and like I am now, keeping my head lifted. Just be mindful of where our head is in space, and if it being dropped is too much, and keeping it lifted. You can still sink your chest, sink your hips back, getting all the benefits of the stretch. Our head lifted. Stuff. Let's work our way back up, and then finding that seated position. We're going to do some arm circles today. So let's start off with our arms out nice and wide in small circles going forward. Reversing direction, going backwards. Good. And then let's do one arm at a time, big circles. We're going to lift our thumb up, and then when we're up top, we're going to flip the hand, bring it back. Kind of like we're doing a backstroke. So straight up, flipping our hand, it comes forward. Good. Let's switch sides. Going backwards. Again, that thumb is up, going back. Perfect. And then let's do one arm going forward. And switching sides. I'm about to sneeze, excuse me. Woo. Nice video evidence of my sneezes. I like it. Alright. Let's inhale, lifting our arms up. Exhaling, twisting. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, twisting to the other side. Notice how I covered my cough or sneeze, by the way. That's crucial. Sneezing into your shoulder, armpit, or elbow, not into your hand, especially during COVID-19. Good stuff. Inhaling nice and tall. Let's hold that stretch. Twisting. Inhaling deeper. Exhaling, twisting a little bit more. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, twisting to the other side and holding. Inhaling. Twisting a little bit more. Good stuff. Let's scoot back in that chair. Placing our ankle over our knee. Stretching that hip. Inhaling nice and tall. And hinging over that knee. Great job. Inhaling back up, dropping the foot down, switching sides. Inhaling tall, exhaling over that knee. Good. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling down. And find ourselves with our back up against our chair, closing our eyes. Inhaling nice and deep. Exhaling, sinking into the floor. Inviting stillness into your mind. Letting any thoughts come, letting them go. Just like a cloud in the sky. Also inviting stillness into your body. Choosing the stillness for as long as you want. Feeling free to stay here however long you need. As always, thank you for joining me. The light in me recognizes light in you. Namaste.